Thank you.
Adam gave him commission, not touch the tree, understand? What a perfect plan, everyone getting along, no matter what I want, the praise is still going on. Thou son of man, name the animals, behold your helpmate, I call her woman. Let me tell you this, there was straight rebellion, atonement was made, save us the damnation. Turn the table, welcome King and Abel, Abel accepted, King get unstable, to kill him own brother from the same navel. Another son was coming who became reliable. Seth by name, Enos was the same. Call upon the Most High regardless of fame. Noah preached love, though it didn't rain. He had 3 sons, Japhet, Ham and Shem. Abraham he came, got a name change. Isaac was born, to many it was strange. Isaac and Ishmael, they were estranged. Rebecca got 2 sons, which was the same age. Jacob I love, Esau I hate. 1, 2, 3, let me tell you this straight. Who's the chosen seed is not up for debate. All is to know the truth that surely relates. 12 tribes return before it's too late. Do not walk by sight, but walk by faith. Now who am I? Stop contemplate. The foreign 28 your birth certificate. Those who say them real, but they are fake. The doctrines of men do not intake. Practices of the world do not participate. Religions not be, they deceive like the snake. Wake up, and don't be afraid. Where your keeper, where your tallit, where your tassel, where your beard. Feel righteousness, stand up and be brave. There is life after this when you enter the grave. Wake up, and don't be afraid. Where your keeper, where your tallit, where your tassel, where your beard. Feel righteousness, stand up and be brave. There is life after this when you enter the grave. When you enter the grave.
No apologies, goddammit. Y'all imposters. Y'all frauds. Y'all ain't nothing but dogs.
Come on. That's right. There'll be no apologies. So the real Hebrews get off your knees. Real hard, full of truth, no capities. Keep it real for the Father, cause I aim to please. Stand up for the Most High daily. These nations out here want to slay me. Never ever to let them play me. That's not how the Most High made me. My soul's on fire, I move higher than what we've ever seen. They are some liars, we're greater than what we've ever dreamed. We standing 10 toes down with no apologies. We've had enough of their lies and ideologies. They made us gator baits, we the ones that heathen love to hate. It started before them slave ships, and it lasts until this very day. If you look at our true history, we were kings, that is no mystery. All we have left is just misery, so they chalk it up conspiracy. One time, go. Go, Judah, go. One time, go. Let's ride.
No apologies, don't bother me. Breaking it down, no astrology. My bad, so sad, sight. Y'all frauds, y'all mad, light. You was really the nation, but deceived the nations, defeat the beast. From the east, suffering sin upon the brethren, but I cut your heads with the lead. Your friends, I duck you too, y'all already know what's coming to you. Now lay on the ground and hush your mouth. Before I bring the flames to your lames, don't be surprised. Dry your eyes for your lies in disguise. Boy, we see him clear, boy, look at here. No apologies.
One time, go.
Shalom, 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 shalom. We would like to welcome you to the Truth Be Told Flex podcast. I am your host here, Yeshua Judah. We got Ayo Ben Yahoo as well. Best co-host that a host could have. Brother, I want to say thank you again for being here with us.
Yeah.
Okay, then I can hear you.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I tell you, sound check is something that is needful, bro. You have got to be prepared.
Woo, good.
What it take us about an hour, almost.
We was over here going through it.
Yeah.
About an hour.
Exactly.
And them was me because we was like, boy, this is funny. Like, this is crazy. I couldn't hear you couldn't hear me, but I could hear your wife.
Right.
Like, it was just, boy, we was exiting out, made another studio, went in there, could hear each other. It was
right. But hey, we got it together. All praises to the Most High. We got it together. We are here. For everybody that is here with us tonight, we want to say thank you. Let's give them a round of applause.
Yeah.
Give them a round of applause for being here with us tonight. My brother Monologue, my God, on the Talk About It Tuesday last night, brother. I want to give you much love, much props. You represented the Truth Be Told Flex podcast. You didn't just talk about it, man. You had it on your chest, brother. We want to say thank you for that. That's something that me and Ayo, we talk about a lot, is that we need that type of love in the nation. This is a grand time for Israel right now.
Right.
It's a lot of stuff that's happening. A lot of people coming up with a lot of new ideas. And the only way that these ideas can get out there and get into the forefront is that we got to be able to be the ones to push them out there. So, Monologue, we want to say thank you for that, for sure.
You want Pastor Kendall.
Our sound effects might be a little bit more active tonight, so I want to be the first one to introduce the newest member to our show, which is Banat Shelahaya, my wife. She is the new production manager.
Come on, somebody.
Truth Be Told, people, show my baby some love. She's going to do a great job. She is. She's going to be a good asset to the show as well. Why don't you say hello to your family?
Shalom, family.
All right. Yeah, she's a little shy, but I want to thank her as well, though. I want to thank her for doing this. I asked her about it, and I told her, look, I only want you to do it if you want to do it. She answered the bell, so we got somebody full-time that's going to allow me and Ayo to concentrate on doing what it is that we do. And as always, even when Young Judah was here, her opinion and her input is most valued as well. Ayo, I can't remember his name, brother, but another former basketball player just died.
He played for the Boston Celtics and the Orlando Magic. He had some time overseas. He passed away and collapsed today.
Doing yoga.
Yes, doing yoga. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I forget his name, but yeah, that it came out today that he.
Brandon Hunter.
Thank you.
Brandon Hunter. 42 years. The thing too, man, it's not that these cats are dying. It's how they all dying. Everybody dying the exact same way.
Exactly.
They just collapsing, man. It's like this is something you learn in math when it comes to fractions. When you multiplying and dividing fractions, you got to first, before you can do the problem, you got to find a common denominator.
And exactly. And it's crazy how we all know what the common denominator is. If you even say it, especially on this platform, you even fix your lips to even utter it, they get you. If you go out and say it on any platform, you ostracize. And it's just, once again, we talk about it all the time. And there's a reason why Mashiach was talking in parables, was teaching in
Facts.
parables. There's a reason, and now we're truly seeing the reason, because you can't even, like, Ock just brought up a great point. You know the common denominator.
Right.
You can't go nowhere and say it. But
Right.
we big, constitutional freedom of speech. Okay, well, why can I say it? If you get offended, you can disagree or agree. Or if you see it on social media, you can scroll past it. You ain't got to comment. Everybody go to sleep, eat lunch, work together, be on the podcast together. Just because we disagree, we still good. But nowadays, folks get offended so fast. That's the worst thing you could do to somebody out in society on these platforms is offend somebody, hurt their feelings. And
I a lot of the times too, I don't believe that people feelings be hurt. I think a lot of the times the corporations just don't want you talking about it.
Well, true.
See, the corporation, I gave the structure one time, and I give it again, how we is at the bottom of the pyramid.
Right.
And then you got the government that's right on top of us. And then you got the corporations on top of the government. And then on top of the corporations, you got the feds. Not really the feds, but the 13 royal families that run everything. And so everything that's on top runs that's at the bottom. So the government is running us, but corporations is running the governments. And so you got platforms like YouTube. This is why Nasaya TV is so needful within our nation. We can say what we want to say on Nasaya because Nasaya is not owned by nobody other than Elder Nasaya. Exactly.
We talked about that in the interview we did together. We talked about the importance of that.
Right.
Because real quick, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good.
The show that we did with King 7 and Mono right before the F3 Family Fest was taken down. And there was we went and looked at the video a couple of times, like, what do you, but it was still streaming on the site. So that's the important.
Right.
We can say it, we not take it down, but four brothers on the show talking some goodness and building up the nation. Oh yeah, they was like, yeah, they yanked that off. It wasn't even a whole 24 hours later.
Exactly. It seemed like you chopping up. I don't know.
Am I?
Yeah, you good, Daryl. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you good, Daryl. But yeah, man, that's what it be. So these corporations like YouTube and Twitter and whatever else is out there, they make these guidelines, and that's what they hit you with. They'll tell you that you have violated the guidelines of the platform, and therefore we're going to remove it. And what it is that it's way too much, truth that's going against what it is that they're trying to push out there. So they'll say that, hey, you offended somebody. Myself, I don't believe it. I don't believe that people be that offended, man. I just believe that they got the power to shut you down, and that's exactly what they do. They shut you down.
Right. Good point. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So can I throw something out there at you guys?
Of course.
A lot of times what it is they're corporate sponsors. YouTube and some of these other platforms have corporate sponsors. If the corporate sponsor is a CEO, whoever their committee is, if one of those individuals says that they're offended, that's where the guidelines come from. And when you have corporate sponsors, they're funneling money into these companies. Because think about it, how free did YouTube used to be? How much were you allowed to say on YouTube, where it was just an open platform to speak, say whatever you wanted to say, post whatever you wanted to post, and then all of a sudden they start having these community guidelines. So you got to keep in mind those corporate sponsors are the ones who are backing this and determining what those guidelines are going to be.
Corporate sponsors are the ones with the money.
Yep. And great point, sis, because it goes back to what Sheer was saying about that hierarchy. Them jokers at the top, they filter the money down where whoever that corporate sponsor is. All right, we get it, freedom of speech, but you can't let this go on. They can't say this. And like she said, community guidelines. What do you mean community guidelines? Right,
community guidelines. Because YouTube was actually the place to go to vent.
Yep. It was. Years back. But maybe 2017, 2018-ish.
Right.
It was right around that era, that time frame, and then seemed like a couple years ago when the pandemic happened.
Right.
Now, you can't.
Right.
About nobody.
Because it's too many people. It's too many people out there that that don't agree with what is being pushed out there in front of us. And so you had platforms like YouTube where you could go out there and you could talk about it. Hey, we got to shut that down.
Right.
You know, we can't have that. And that was the whole problem that they had with the Messiah.
Right.
The Messiah. This is when people read the Gospels, what you need to understand that the problem that the Pharisees and the Sadducees had with the Messiah is that his popularity, and he wasn't even looking for no popularity,
Right.
but his popularity was pulling the masses away from them. They were the religious leaders.
Right.
But now people was looking at this youngster, and he was a youngster.
Right.
Like they said, this brother, he ain't even went to our pharisaical schools.
Schools. Come on, bring it out. Come on, man.
You know? And you want to listen to him. The problem that they had was him was the truth that came out of his mouth. And it's the same thing it is with us. The problem that they have with all of us is the truth that is coming out of our mouth. So until they shut us down just totally, gonna keep banging them upside their head. What that song say? Banging on Esau.
I'm telling you, we're gonna keep our foot on their neck.
Just keep putting it on their neck. Hey, you know, so
Oh man,
that is what it is, man. Check this out, man. I saw this article, and we was talking about it before the show. I didn't know if it was real or not. Come to find out, it is real. Go ahead and run that video clip, but not.
Something weird was turning heads at the NFL game between the Miami Dolphins and the Los Angeles Chargers this past Sunday. AI robots were seen sitting in the stands, seemingly taking in the action. Their facial expressions didn't look especially friendly, but they were cheering for the big plays and doling out high fives to bewildered humans around them. It was actually all just a publicity stunt for an upcoming sci-fi movie called The Creator. Thankfully, these robots seemed less intent on world domination, but reactions from fans at the SoFi Stadium were definitely mixed. Former NFLer Pat McAfee was not happy to see them, and he didn't hold back on his show.
Just know this, you little fake fucks. I'd boot both your heads off if I had to.
It most likely data, but in a world where AI is advancing at an unsettling pace, it might have hit a bit close to home. You never know who or what might be sitting next to you in the near future.
boy, Pat McAfee, he don't care, man.
Hey,
Man,
you know what's crazy? When New Breed, I said the same thing when he said that, man. When I heard him say that, he'll boot their heads off. I said, they ain't gonna do nothing but charge for a hate crime. Then New Breed came right behind to say, I wonder if that's gonna.
I wonder if that's. Listen, this is where we headed to. We've been, I mean, it was episode 75 or something like that when we were talking about the DARPA and the companies that's contracted by the government that you have no idea they are doing bidding wars on who can make the most dominant robotic, whether it's a dog, police officer, whatever it is. Now you got this movie, The Creator, coming out. And then you got these, I mean, they were in the stand, and I'm a Dolphin fan, and I seen it. I was like, man, them jokers is in the stand slapping high fives. And
oh, so you actually saw it during the game?
Yeah,
the camera came.
But they shot it, and then they went away from it real fast.
Okay.
And the announcer, you got to go back and try to find it. He kind of stopped and wanted to say, what was that? But he sort of kept going. So, yeah, it's, boy.
Yeah.
Man.
So, my wife is sure, so she'll tell you that I've been saying we've been walking amongst AIs for the longest anyway. You know, that's just something that I believe, and I could be wrong. You know, that's just how I believe. But whether I was wrong about that then, I ain't going to be wrong about it in a couple of years from now. This is the thing. All they doing is they are tweaking their technology. It's like if you are building a car, right? You know how you want your car to perform before you take it to the track. You building a 4-second car, right? 4 seconds, 5 seconds. Yeah, you building a 5-second car, quarter mile, right? You know how you want that bad boy to perform before you take it to the track. And by the time you take it to the track, it's gonna do what you expect it to do. That's what they're doing now. But the thing is that what they're doing is they are implementing this technology into the public. I just had this conversation with somebody not long ago. It might have been with you, Io, but I was saying, do you know how easy it is to make something normal?
Yep,
Just think about that. It's real easy to make something. How do you make something normal? Just put it out there in front of you. You look at it long enough, it becomes normal. These are normal now.
Right.
I'm old enough to remember when these were not normal.
Right.
You see?
Yeah.
And that's all that they doing. And so for them to, and the second thing that they doing with this is they want to see the people's reactions.
They want to see, that's it. And once again, that right there, when they was high-fiving and interacting with people, that's the thing. So in 2 or 3 years, when you don't want to lose your seat or you parking, you can let the android get out of the car, go make sure the ticket's good, meet him inside the gate. They got the popcorn and everything, and it's normal. That's what they're gonna be.
I ain't even think about that, but you got a point though, man.
If you don't want to get up from your seat at halftime and stand in line, just give it.
I'm sure the Android probably has some cameras on it too, which means that you can probably watch it. You know what I'm saying, or listen to it, the Bluetooth in your ear or something like that. But
like you said, they testing it. So the ones at the Dolphins and Chargers game, you would be look at them and be like, oh, that's a robot. But when they put hair on them and refine them a little more, edge out the skin and cheekbones, you already know. You already know, man.
Right.
So like you said, that's what they're doing. They're testing to see how comfortable we are to it and to see how we react. Exactly.
Yep, robot, and like I say, they steadily tweaking their stuff too, and it's like once they put hair on it. But the thing too is that another thing that New Breed brought up on his podcast when he was talking about it is that how these robots are going to be taking our jobs, and we talking simple jobs. Look, I done told y'all several times I refuse to go to the self-checkout when I go to Walmart. When I leave Walmart, I want to leave the same way I came in.
Right.
Not working for you. You dig what I'm saying? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And so, but think about it, man. There's a couple of targets. One is in Dallas, I know, that have no more cashier lines whatsoever.
Really? Not one?
Not one.
Wow.
Not one.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Just think about that, man. And so when you get to talking about messing with the economy, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Because now people ain't working. I ain't gotta hire you.
Right. I can slash my payroll if I got a corporation and if I can save $4 million a year because I got 250 employees and now I can employ 40 robots to do what $4 million was paying 250 employees. You don't think they're gonna? I'm not saying I would, but I'm saying.
Right.
The average Joe that's trying to cut money and now costs are rising for corporations to operate. Yeah, they're going to get a chance to cut the employment force at a rate. Yeah.
Have you guys ever heard of something called Chat GPT?
Yep.
So Chat GPT is it's an AI program that writes for you. And for somebody like me who is a writer, it's scary because you don't necessarily need somebody like me to come in and write certain things. So for those of you who don't know, I work in human resources. That's the kind of the work that I do. So I spend a lot of time writing job descriptions, writing policies, procedures, all kinds of different guidelines, SOPs. And this new tool allows you to go in and drop a few things in. You tell it what you want, how you want it, if you want it long, short, the kind of language you want to use, and it will draft it up. When I tell you it drafts it up in record time, where something normally would take me probably 2 or 3 hours to write if I'm working on a job description. It might take me, if that's all I'm working on, 2 or 3 hours to go in there and write that job description. This does it in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
Now it's not fail proof because you have to know what you're putting into the system in order for it to spit out what you're asking it to spit out. But for those people who know how to use it, it's a phenomenal tool. And it's going to reduce the need to have people like business analysts because they go in and pull all this data together. It's going to reduce the need for statisticians because they go in and formulate the data and pull all kinds of numbers together. It's going to take away a lot. And those are high paying jobs. Mm-hmm. It takes away the need for a lot of those. So while a lot of people appreciate the AI components that are being introduced, they don't realize what it's about to do.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. That's wow. Man.
And
That's
labor
crazy.
laws too, out the window.
Wow.
You know, we on a 40-hour work schedule. All right? So the AI robots in the workplace, man, these jokers can work all night. You know, you know what I said.
Yeah, cheap labor for the corporations,
cheap labor for the corporations.
And the thing is, like your wife was just saying, if something can do something we could do in record time, she will write a policy, SOP, a standard operating procedure in 2 to 3 hours. If a chat GPT or robot can write it in 40, 45 minutes,
right.
That's like, yeah, no overtime needed, no labor. The labor force is like, it's non-existent. Yeah. And it's so crazy that all of this is going on with this AI stuff. And we've talked about it before real quick. Mitt Romney.
That's in Google.
Mitt Romney just announced today that he will not run for election in the Congress seat that he holds. Now, if everybody don't remember or know, Mitt Romney is a venture capitalist. So what he does, him and his crew, if a company like Burger King, Domino's Pizza, Staples, Office Max, when they were about to go under and go bankrupt, him and his team come in. Guess what? The first thing they do, slash the labor force.
That's right.
They'll sit down in the board at 4 o'clock in the morning. Everybody with their coffee and suits and ties and croissants and bagels. They're gonna be like, look, you spending out $13 million a year. We can have 2 people from IT and AI come in here and do slash that $13 million. So you're saving $13 million. So they just do mass layoffs.
Right.
And then they save the company. So it's crazy that what is he going to be doing now that he's not going to be a senator anymore?
Right.
Is he going to be slashing layoffs? Is him? It's crazy. I seen that today and I thought about that. I was like, wow, that's crazy that
and now. All of this is tied into the Great Reset. All of this is tied into the reset to take away from the people. Because once again, I'm going to say it, that the only thing that's standing in between them and NWO, New World Order, is that the American people have too much. As soon as they figure out how to take it out of our hands, then there you go. You know what I'm saying? And everything that you're seeing, even some of the stories we're going to talk about tonight, you're going to see that this is, you know, the route that they're going, man. So I thought that was crazy. I didn't watch that Miami game, but man, I'd have been a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I like what you said though. Hey, you know, you can actually send your iBot to the game the night before to make sure. You know what I'm saying? That hey, just go out there and just sit, homie.
Go sit in our feet to make sure don't nobody get them when we come in there.
You know
I'm telling you, boy, anything folks can do to get a leg up or hand up, boy, they gonna do it.
I guess pretty soon basketball is gonna be with, you know what I'm saying, robots running up and down the court, and football, you know what I'm saying. I mean, who's to say, man? Who's to say?
Money. They have robots throwing a football in a heartbeat.
Exactly. I guess they're gonna have to raise the goal and lengthen the football field if that's the case, you know. But we'll see. Also, before we get cranking, Dr. Anthony Fauci, man, on Sunday, again, part of the reset, he said that Dr. Anthony Fauci, I'm going to ask a question about him in a minute, but he said that he believes the recommendations to mask could make a return this fall and winter should USC spike in cases of the sickness that is out there. Fauci, the former White House chief medical advisor, appeared on ABC's this week to discuss a recent rise in the bullcrap cases and potential precautions headed into the colder months. He said, I can see, this is what he said, I can see that if we get a significant uptick in cases, that we may see the recommendations that masks be used under certain circumstances in indoor crowded settings. Fauci said, adding that he does not foresee any federal mandates. Now, we're going to come back to that as well, guys. He goes on to say, I would be extremely surprised if we would see that. Talking about federal mandates. He said, referring to a mandate, there may be local organizations, remember that may require masks, but I think what we're going to see mostly are, if the cases go up, that there might be recommendations, not mandates. There's a big difference there. 2020 all over again, local organizations, okay? Meaning, we don't have to make a federal mandate. Ayob and Benat Shell of Ahaya. We don't have to make a federal mandate to control you. Because remember, understand, all of this is about control. This ain't got nothing about slowing down no virus. This ain't got nothing about saving no lives. This has to do with control. We don't have to make a federal mandate to control you. Again, the government is like, we're going to leave it to the corporations. Remember, we just talked about the corporations. That's what Fauci is saying. He's saying that there might be recommendations. There may be local organizations that may require masks. Meaning, if you want to go to an amusement park, mask up. You want to fly, mask up. You want to go to the movies, mask up. Kids in school, they got to mask up. The bottom line is what we recommend. So the government is like, we ain't got to mandate you. Remember, on top of the government is the corporations anyway. So whatever the corporations want, that's what the government is going to push.
Right. That's what I mean, we know years ago what happened with the bailout. Ford, Chrysler, GM, all of what's going on. Whatever corporations want, the government stepped in. So now it's even worse. You know, with the 91 DBOC, as Mono said in the chat. That's what we call it, 91 DBOC.
Right.
91 DBOC out. Man, they're going to make sure. I seen a post today to land back up what you were saying. It said, y'all can feed, you can give the whole world the ooh-wee. Make sure that ooh-wee is available.
Right.
But you can't feed the hungry and the poor. Like, think about that, y'all.
Think about that,
man. These corporations step in big and say, oh, we the heroes. We donate this. We donate this. We gonna give them this. We gonna give them this for that 91 DVOC and that ooh-wee. Man, that.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah.
So you
got any thoughts on that? On the recommendations?
I have all kinds of thoughts, but I'm gonna reserve my thoughts. I'll keep my thoughts to myself on this one.
Okay.
Right.
91. The 91
DVOC.
Appreciate that. We gonna use that, my God. We gonna use that, man. Yeah. Cause I couldn't figure out how to say it without getting in trouble.
Right.
And without yeah. But anyway.
what you said.
Exactly. Exactly. We gonna use that, man. But
man.
I think it's interesting too, that all of this talk about the recommendations of wearing the mask, right? This fall and this winter is coming at the same time that the flu and RSV vaccines are just about to come out,
Yeah.
which is respiratory syncytial virus. How you pronounce that word? She need her glasses. Oh shoot, she don't know how to read it. I don't feel bad now because she's yeah. But that's what the But that's what the RSV is. But I think it's interesting though, man, that the numbers are upticking at the same time that these vaccines, you dig what I'm saying, are about to come out. Look, we gotta understand the money that these people invested in this stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They want to be the heroes.
Pfizer itself had been around for a long time and nobody had ever heard of Pfizer. Why? Because they was losing money from the time of their inception. But as soon as this mRN junk started coming out, exactly at the same time in 2020, for the first time that Pfizer had been around, they began to start making money.
Ain't that something? Drop bombs on that.
You see?
That's something.
So
Bring it out.
I mean, at the same time, you got numbers upticking, recommendations for masks, winter, fall, and I just heard that they coming up with one shot that could take care of both 91. You see what I'm saying?
Right,
and the flu at the same time. At the same.
Well,
now you still ain't explaining to me why people just drop it dead.
Still ain't explaining it. Can't explain that.
Still ain't explaining to me why people drop it dead.
And we just
but you telling me to still go get it.
Right. And we just run down there too. Oh, gotta go stand in line for 2 hours to get that OE. I want to be better. What is going on, man? We gotta. Deception is at an all-time high. Mashiach said it. Make sure you're not deceived. And
exactly.
It's almost like we don't even care no more. Not us, but majority of our folks, we don't. As long as they can go to work, as long as I can go to daycare, as long as I ain't got to pick up.
That's what it is, man. And you know, I sometimes be reserved. I keep my thoughts about the juice reserved because I don't know who got it in them. Look, I'm gonna tell you something. If I had that junk in me, I would be nervous. Every morning. If there was a reason for you to give the Most High praise, whether you believe that you're a Hebrew or not, if you're a Christian or whatever, if you got that junk in you, every morning your eyes open, every day you go through a whole day, you need to be giving some praise.
Right. Because most folks should be scared to death.
Man, I'd be scared to death.
Brother,
I probably worried myself to death.
I'm telling you.
Like yesterday was that last night. I had a hard time breathing. I was telling you that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it had to be something that was in the air. It was crazy. I was telling my wife when I went to bed that night, I still couldn't breathe. It felt like an asthma attack, and I was scared to go to sleep. Every time I wake up, it was like I was suffocating. You dig what I'm saying? Now just think if I had that junk in me, man, I wouldn't have went to sleep. But say, I'd have got up and ran around the block or something. I ain't going to sleep. You know?
Right. I got to stay up.
I got to stay
up. I could not imagine. And I had a whole moray tell his whole congregation that I had it a week.
Say that one more again, I was reading the comments.
I had a whole moray to tell his whole congregation that I got the ooey.
That you got the ooey?
I got the ooey.
Oh, wow. That ain't no moray. That's a false moray.
Come on. Drop bombs on that.
That ain't no moray.
I ain't going to say the statement.
Yeah.
Everybody know it. I ain't going to do that. But I could not imagine. And I said that to say, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Anything that would go wrong inside me, any cough, I'd be scared. Boy,
right.
I'd be like, oh my gosh. What's coming next?
Is this it?
Right. Is this it? Elizabeth. Come over here, you dummy. Come home, Elizabeth, you dummy. So, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I couldn't imagine, man.
So I know, like you just said, if you would have been remotely close to even thinking about getting it, when that happened, when you told me last night, you're like, all right, I'm getting off from work and I couldn't barely. You would have been worried to death. So just think of how many people that don't have the Most High.
Right.
That took that junk, man.
Yeah, that's real talk. That's real talk,
I know
man.
every fall and summer they be oh, what's coming? I got to stay in the house. I can't go to work. I got to work from home. All praise to the Most High. We ain't got to deal with that.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. The rich people even tell you, man, money can buy you a whole lot of stuff, but what money can't do is buy your health. Rich people will tell you in a heartbeat that they'll trade all the riches that they got for good health in a heartbeat, man. Right. So you got to ask yourself, because a lot of people did it so they could keep that bag that they got, or keep chasing that bag that they chasing.
Right.
Now you got to start asking yourself, was it worth it? We be watching those cigarette commercials. If you love your family, you might need to stop smoking. Yeah, you loved your family, you wouldn't have went down there and got that who we put in your body.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Man. It's crazy, y'all. And like Mano said, he said he's scared for all his people who got it. The house of Mano is jab free. All praise to the Most High for that. All praise to the Most High. The house of Ayob is jab free.
Jab free.
All praise, man.
Jab free. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
We ain't chasing the bag. We ain't not doing none of that. So all praise.
One last thing before we get to the beyond critical race theory, man, that was coming up. Were we done with that? Any other thoughts on that? We can move on. You had something? Okay. JP Morgan predicts the future of the US dollar. Man, look, when JP Morgan say something, we know that JP Morgan, old man JP Morgan, is long dead, but this is a bank that carries his name. So when JP Morgan and Chase say something, you need to pay attention to what they're saying. Right. This banker holds more weight than the president of the United States. Right. People you got to understand. This is JP Morgan. The IMF money goes through JP Morgan, which is the International Monetary Funds. It goes through JP Morgan. It goes through. So when JP Morgan says something, when something comes out of the house of JP Morgan, you need to pay attention to it. Again, all of this, everything that we've talked about so far is all geared up for the Great Reset, right? This is what JP Morgan say. It's the world's leading bank and financial institution. JP Morgan analyzed the de-dollarization efforts initiated by the BRICS alliance. Everybody here know who the BRICS is, right? It says the US dollar is at risk of losing its global reserve status as BRICS countries use local currencies for trade settlements in a recent analysis. JP Morgan predicts the future of the US dollar after facing threats from BRICS blocs. The institution studied the risk of the de-dollarization across the world as other currencies look to become the global reserve. It says the report outlined two scenarios, and this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about these two scenarios that JP Morgan predicts that would collapse the dollar. Two scenarios that could stand a chance of eroding the US dollar global reserve status. The first scenario is when the global financial situation turns worse, making the US dollar lose stability in the markets. I'm going to repeat that. The first scenario is when global financial situations turns worse, making the US dollar lose stability in the market. Now, check this out. More than 5,000 presumed dead in Libya after catastrophic flooding breaks dams and sweep away homes. In the eastern city of Derna, which has seen the worst of the devastation, as many as 6,000 people are missing. At least 2,901 people have died and 5,530 people were injured as a result of the devastating earthquake that hit Morocco on Friday. Most of the dead was buried under rubble of collapsing buildings, the government said. That right there, my friend, is that first scenario. Global financial situations turn worse.
Stability in markets, yep.
The infrastructure is weak.
Yep.
Because the powers that be is weakening it.
Yep.
These floods that's over there in India, look, we talked about them inducing the rain in India. I don't remember how many shows back. This is not something new.
Nope.
I've never heard of Morocco having an earthquake in none of my life.
It's not like the one, and especially if so, not like the one that just had.
Not the one that just happened.
That was.
All of this stuff has got to either be rebuilt or done away with, which is going to cause more money, which is going to cause the dollar to do what?
Collapse. Look at the fires in Maui.
Look at there's another one.
That's another one that could just, lose stability, man.
Stability.
Lose stability. That's the first scenario where they say, look, we got to step in and save the dollar because it's losing stability in the markets. Nobody looks at the value of it like they used to.
Right.
That's
Johnny Boy
concern.
Fitness 1500. Shalom, brother. Right.
But that's the concern.
That's the concern.
That's the first, and that's the first scenario.
That's the first scenario. The second scenario was this one. It could be caused by external factors outside the U.S. when other countries boost their native currencies as an alternative settlement tender.
Right.
So I'm going to repeat that one. The second scenario could be caused by external factors outside the U.S. when other countries boost their native currencies as an alternative settlement tender. Saudi Arabia has opened to trading in currencies besides the U.S. dollar. China has called for Saudi Arabia to price oils in, how do you pronounce the yuan? I call it the yuan. How you pronounce it? The one. I'd have said yuan. The one. But China has called for Saudi to price the oil sales in the yuan, a move that could dent the dollar dominance. However, the chances, now this is what JP Morgan says now. Remember I said, listen to what they say, and we always say on this show, listen to the language that comes out of these articles.
Yep.
What JP Morgan told you at the beginning of this article, and this article is in the link of the description of this show tonight, okay? What they said at the beginning of this article was that the dollar is in trouble. By the time the article ends, they trying to tell you that the dollar is still top dog and ain't nothing going to happen to it. Because they saying that it's unlikely that the two of these scenarios can happen at the same time. Well, I don't know what earth they living at, but I'm looking at both of these scenarios happening
Right now before our very eyes. It's happening.
right before our very eyes.
It's just in the first stages. But as a woman in birth pains, as you know, whether it's an hour, 20 hours, the next day, you know at some point here in the next 24 to 48 hours, this baby is going to come out to this world.
Mm-hmm.
So once again,
And ain't nothing you can do about it.
it ain't nothing you could do. The whole army couldn't put that baby back inside the womb of that woman if that baby is ready to come at this is time.
Exactly.
But the Most High has ordained for that baby to come. So the same way as this, the time has been ordained for these
Facts.
things to happen.
Facts.
And they happen. They just have to
Ezra's
get it
talk
straight.
about that. Ezra's gave the exact same analogy that you just gave.
Absolutely.
And that correlates with Jeremiah chapter 30, which we just read last week. This is Jacob's time of trouble right now. And the thing, because we always talk about the gloom and doom on here, and we never talk about this to scare nobody. This is uplifting in all actuality when you think about it, Israel, because all of this is happening for our deliverance.
That's it.
It's happening for our deliverance.
Yeah, like I said, it's not a doom and gloom. We're just making you aware because what? Now you can look up because here soon your redemption draws nigh.
Your redemption
Your
draws
power
nigh.
is hearing your cry. He's hearing the cry of the children, and he is like, all right, we about to roll with this thing in a little bit. So
These are birth pains.
yeah, man.
These are birth pains. By the end of the article, it said, and Banat, it said, however, the chances of the two developments occurring on top of each other remains slim. We are seeing what's happening around the world, and Saudi is flirting with other nations, in China more specifically, and this is all happening at the same time. So what that is telling me is that the dollar is losing steam right before our eyes. This is the thing. You are not going to know when the dollar is dropped. You just going to wake up one morning and it just ain't going to be no good. You can use it for toilet paper.
Well, like we say all the time, everybody, I don't care what apocalyptic movie, whether it's 2012, whether it's Zombieland, whatever, you always see money flying through the air, burnt up.
Exactly.
Just flying. What are they been telling you this whole time? At some point, when it go down,
it's gonna go down.
A candy bar be $150.
There you go. There you go.
Gas will be $340.
Exactly.
That's why all the cars be stranded on the highway. People walking, going into the wilderness.
Exactly.
Food would be $800 for 3 people.
Either that, or you're gonna have to go get you a one. and the way they feel about America, they probably ain't gonna be distributing no ones over here. And on top of all of that, everything is going digital too. That's what we cannot miss at all.
Right.
That everything is going digital. Why? Because of control. Why do they want to have 15-minute cities? Control.
Control. That's it.
Check out the TikTok talk that I got. It's either the TikTok talk or the buy sell that I got tonight. Actually, it's the buy sell that I got tonight. It's all about control. And the thing about this is that we as a people, not talking about us specifically, but we as a people, we're giving them the power that they need to control us, man. How long do it take for something to become normal? Not long. Look at going to the airport now. Boy, I was so frustrated when I flew because of all of that bull crap. I remember when that was not normal. Now, people is like, man, what is wrong with you? Just do what they ask you to do. Just take off your shoes. Man, I don't be walking around this daggone floor barefoot. I ain't got nothing in my shoes.
Right. That's right.
It's normal. What is wrong with you?
We walking around everywhere without shoes.
You know what I'm saying?
Black. Nah. We don't walk everywhere without shoes.
We don't walk everywhere. You ain't never heard nobody say dirty bare feet black people. You don't never hear that.
Never hear that. Never hear that.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, man.
But yeah, man. So that's what's going on now. You got any comments, but not you good? Okay, dude.
Yeah, but folks, Mono poses a good question before we move on real quick. The dollar overweight for real? What do we do with our cash now before it happens though? That's a good question for us. We're asking ourselves, what do we invest in? Right before this thing pop, whether it's a year, 2 years, 3 years,
Right.
what do we stockpile? Do we barter and trade? You gotta
Right.
think about that. That's a great question.
That's a great question, Mono.
Think about
and
that.
One of the things that is solid that can never lose value is gold and silver.
Gold and silver. Come on.
Gold and silver will never lose value.
Come on.
And so that is something that you should look into first of all. Secondly, there are coins that you can invest in outside of the central bank digital currency that is outside the walls of America that you can also invest in. And your money can be tied up outside of America and it still will be able to spend. And so, that's one of the main reasons of telling people about the dollar dropping is that we have to start looking at different forms of currencies. I was telling the guy, and y'all heard me say this one time before. I told the guy, probably several times before, I told the guy, we was talking about ammunition, and I said, hey, you may not have a 40 cal, but go to the store and just buy you a few boxes of 40 cal. You might not got no 22, but go buy you some boxes of 22. You don't have to just buy ammunition for the guns that you have. And the reason I say that is because ammunition is going to be valuable.
Yep.
At some point, we're going back to the barter and trade system.
Yep. At some point.
You ain't got no 40, but the person that may have something that you need may have a 40 cal.
Yep. That's it.
You know.
That's it, man.
So yeah, that's a great question, Mono. Great
man.
question. The dollar is. Oh, it ain't over with yet. We ain't gonna put but
But
it's starting to look a little faded. The green is not as green as it used to be.
That green a little dingy. It's getting a little dingy.
It's getting a little dingy.
Light green.
Exactly. It's looking a little minty now.
The minty. Not forest green, but minty.
Exactly.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So that's that, man. That's the beginning. That's the talk around. We'd like to thank everybody for being here. Let's go ahead and get to business. We got to beyond critical race theory. What we got, my man? What we got?
We got a good one, man. We got a good one, man. We're gonna keep it on the positive up and up for this week. And I tried to find a picture. I have a picture, but it's not really the greatest picture. Let me see if I can share my screen. Let me see what I got. Let me see. Can y'all hear me? Y'all hear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So if y'all can see that right there, that is about the best I could probably get. But if you can see that, that is Willie Mays. But this week's Beyond Critical Race Theory, man. You don't hear a lot about this in schools, especially, and not in sports anymore. They talk about Babe Ruth and Joe DiMaggio and all the so-called greats, but we're gonna talk today about one of my favorites, one of my heroes when I was little. Willie Mays makes a catch at the wall at Ebbets Field in 1954. A while back, we did a story, the Beyond Critical Race Theory. If you can remember, Sheer, I don't know if anybody can remember what episode it was, but we talked about the renovation of one of the fields in, I think, Baltimore, that was in the Negro League that they renovated and brought back to life, and now some of the semi-pro teams are starting to play. Ebbets Field is no longer in commission, but it was a field that the Negro American League used back for the Birmingham Black Barons. And this picture right here is Willie Mays. And I've been looking for a picture. You can't see the ground, but look how high he was off the ground, and look at the crowd reaction in the stands. And I caught this, and I wanted to just bring this out. But the headline of the article says, Willie Mays makes a catch at the wall at Ebbets Field in 1954. Willie Howard Mays Jr., who was born on May 6, 1931, nicknamed the Say Hey Kid, Mays spent almost all of his 22-season Major League Baseball career playing for the New York San Francisco Giants between 1951 and 1972, before finishing his career with the New York Mets in 1973. Regarded as one of the greatest baseball players of all time, he was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1979. Willie Mays joined the Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro American League in 1948, playing with them until the Giants signed him once he graduated from high school in 1950. He won the Rookie of the Year award in the Major League Baseball debut in 1951, spent 2 years in the United States Army during the Korean War, then came and won the National League Most Valuable Player in 1954 after leading the league in batting with a .345 batting average. Wow. His over-the-shoulder catch of a Vic Works fly ball in Game 1 of the 1954 World Series that you see on the screen is one of the most famous baseball plays of all time. The Giants swept the Cleveland Indians, the lone World Series triumph of Mays' career. That was his only World Series, and that catch was in Game 1. Best batters that was up to bat when he caught that. Like I said, look how high he is off the ground, man. Mays led the National League with 51 home runs in 1955. In 56, he stole 40 bases, leading the National League for the first time 4 straight years. He led the league 4 straight years after that. He won his first of 12 Gold Glove Awards in 1957, a record for outfielders. The Giants moved to San Francisco after the 1957 season, and Mays contended for the batting title until the final day of 1958, hitting a career high of .347. He batted over 300 for the next 2 seasons, leading the league in hits in 1960. After leading the NL with 129 runs scored in 1961, Mays led the National League in home runs in 1962 as the Giants won the NL pennant and faced the New York Yankees in the World Series, which the Giants lost in 7 games. By 1963, Mays was making over $100,000 a year, setting a record at the time with a $105,000 contract for that season. In 1964, his manager Alvin Dirk named him the Giants captain. He led the NL with 47 home runs that year. He hit 52 the following year, leading the National League and winning his second MVP award. 1966 was the last of 10 seasons in which he had over 100 runs batted in RBI, running bases innings. In 1969, he hit the 600th home run of his career. He got his 3,000th hit in 1970. Traded to the Mets in 72, Mays spent the rest of that season in 1973 with them before retiring. He served as a coach for the Mets until 1979 and later rejoined the Giants as a special assistant to the president and general manager. Mays finished his career batting .302 with 660 home runs, the 6th most of all time, and 1,903 runs batted in. He holds Major League Baseball's record for most putouts as an outfielder, which is 7,095, and the most extra inning home runs with 22. Mays was selected All-Star 24 times, tied for the second most all time. He was named the Major League Baseball All-Century Team in 99 and ranked second on the Sporting News list of the 100 greatest baseball players, behind only Babe Ruth, of course. President Barack Obama presented him with the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2015. So there you have it, man. Right, Babe Ruth, who? Man, listen, we don't talk about him enough, but man, he's no longer here with us, of course, and can't hear this salute. But man, Willie Mays, bro, I salute you to do all of that in a time where not only was it not popular, but you could lose your life. You could lose your life for doing what he did. So him in the 50s, standing in there, leading the league, hey man, we don't talk about him enough. So salute. Can't hear y'all.
When was his first year?
1951. 1951.
That brother played from 1951 to 1973.
And still,
and that's what's amazing is that he played from 51 to 73 and his numbers was still crazy.
Still crazy.
There was no decline.
No decline. That's what I'm saying. No decline.
I was born in 73. This brother played from 51 to 73. And them numbers was just crazy. You right, we don't talk about him enough. You know what they did, man? And I'm sure because of people like Willie Mays. I'm not old enough to remember, but I know people who are old enough to remember. There are cats that's older than I am, like in their 60s, right? Mm-hmm. And they talk about how there used to be baseball diamonds in the projects and in the hood. Yeah. And those cats grew up playing baseball. They know baseball and they love baseball the same way we like football and basketball. And I'm sure one of the reasons why they started snatching baseball diamonds out of the hood was because they foresaw Israel dominating that sport.
Absolutely.
That's supposed to be America's pastime. That's a good old boy, white boy sport. Yeah. Used to be anyway. Now when you look at Major League Baseball, it ain't nothing but Dominicans and Cubans and you know what I'm saying?
Puerto Ricans.
And exactly. You know. Yeah. But that's supposed. I mean, they got a whole daggone movie called The Sandlot. Little white boys baseball and a dog.
Yeah, I remember that movie. Sandlot.
Right.
James Earl Jones.
Exactly.
Yeah. Was it Field of Dreams with James Earl Jones and Kevin Costner? I think it was
right.
Kevin Costner one. Yeah.
You know, the stuff that Willie did, man, he was Mr. Willie. The stuff that Mr. Willie Mays did, he was not supposed to do it. And like you said, that's facts. He was doing that in a time where he could have easily lost his life, man. He could have easily lost his life just because of being so great.
Yep. just for being so great. You ain't got to bother nobody. Just go out on the field and perform the greatest, and you could be
Right.
subject of losing your life just for that.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
To say
Yeah.
hey,
Beautiful.
really amazing. Man,
Beautiful beyond critical race
all
theory.
praise.
We don't talk about the great ones enough. And I like the switch too that you have given, man, because we always talking about the devilment that the raw chickens do, and we never talk about the greatness that our people be doing. You know what I'm saying?
What
So
you call them all?
raw chickens,
Well, that's a code
raw,
name for
raw
that's a
chicken.
code name for your boy.
It look just like right before you put them in the right before you put them in the sink to clean them.
You gotta burn them hairs, them little hairs off.
Yeah. That's exactly what they look like. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get to that first music break and come back and get some news in.
Yeah, all praise.
Hey. Shot Judah. NSGM. No such glory. Yeah. Staying in my lane, swerving out of line. Trying to do the dash, cause we running out of time. Look inside a humble soul, tell me what you find. Look inside a humble soul, tell me what you find. Staying in my lane, swerving out of line. Trying to do the dash, cause we running out of time. Look inside a humble soul, tell me what you find. Look inside a humble soul, tell me what you find. I'm me, I can't be you, but I got your back like a sneeze, I bless you. Some mama brought me to my knees, had to regroup. Trying to wake my people up the Bible, know that's you. Chosen, this world too bogus. I'm always on my lonesome, trying to stay focused. Return of the king, any hour, no man knows it. In his direction, prick his hands on my life. Struggle a couple things, but I'm soon to get it right. When I'm waking in my sleep, best believe that I fight. Kid, cut it day and night, couldn't ask for better life. Couple sisters broke my heart, so I'm patient on the wife. I know I'm not the best, but I can only be me. Sharing all these gifts, from the chosen seed, Gotta keep the faith and believe. Gotta keep the faith and staying in my lane, swerving out of line. Trying to do the dash, cause we running out of time. Look inside a humble soul, tell me what you find. Look inside a humble soul, tell me what you find. Staying in my lane, swerving out of line. Trying to do the dash, cause we running out of time. Look inside a humble soul, tell me what you find. Look inside a humble soul, tell me what you find. Hey.
Yeah, humble soul with Shy Judah. That's dope. I like that, man. I like that.
That's a nice track.
Yeah, and I think I seen Bison from Jamaica. He was the first video we ran, man. Shouts to him, man. If he's still in the building, Bazion, great track, man. Great word for the Most High. He in tune all the way from Jamaica. That's
yeah, man. It was that brother got a beautiful spirit too. I don't know if you saw. I had posted. He had gave us a shout out, and he had made a little introduction for the night shows too. So I want to say the water for that too, because that thing was dope, man.
Yeah, he been posting all day about the show. So man,
right. So I hopefully you still in here with us, man. And if so, man, we want to say thanks for that. Exactly. We was talking about the laws in Texas and some of the new ones that they had brought up that's going to be implemented that was implemented about 12 days ago, September the 1st. Last week, which one of them laws we talked about last week?
We talked about the LGBTQ one, but we also talked about the Crown Act.
Yeah, that's tonight. We're gonna talk about the Crown Act tonight. Yeah.
We talked about the LGBTQ law going into effect on last week's show. And there was another one I'm trying to remember that what we talked about. But yeah, that was 774 that went into effect. I think was September 1st.
Yeah, they
like
went into
overnight.
effect. Yeah, exactly. September
And
1st.
we were mentioning how they say laws, but like Shira said and stated last week, they're more like statutes.
Right.
They're more like a financial term,
Right.
instead of an actual law. You know what
Law.
I'm saying? Yeah. So
Exactly.
yeah.
So
That was
with
last
this,
week.
so one of the laws that they putting in effect is called the Crown Act, which it's crazy to me that they even got to put a law in effect because of how my hair grow to begin with,
Right.
But go ahead and run that video, but not y'all. We got a video because it got to be seen more than we could talk about it. Go ahead.
A story I've been following for more than a year now. A bill known as the Crown Act got its first hearing before the House State Affairs Committee just this morning. Now, the bill bans hair-based discrimination and discriminatory dress codes in schools and workplaces. You might remember DeAndre Arnold, who was thrust into the forefront of this big movement after being banned from a Barbers Hill graduation due to the length of his locks, which he claims is all a part of his Trinidadian culture. Now, I followed him to Hollywood for the Oscars alongside the Hair Love team, who won an Oscar for a short animated film about black hair. Now, last summer, a judge ruled the Barbers Hill ISD hair policy was discriminatory. And today, DeAndre testified in front of lawmakers. I talked with him right after. Take a listen.
I went from talking about a problem in school to one news station to another one. Then I'm on Ellen. Then I'm on the red carpet. But now I'm actually at the state capitol testifying in front of Congress, getting this bill passed. So this is incredible right now. It really is. I wanted to give them more insight on how this stuff really affects people. Like, hair discrimination isn't a joke. It's not something trivial. This is real pain, real suffering.
Now, DeAndre left Barbers Hill and graduated from another high school. He is now finishing up his first year there at LSU, majoring in animal sciences. His family sued the school district. That litigation is still pending.
That was 2020. That was in 2020. I see Shaka Boom said she remember that story. I'm surprised that it had legs like that went all the way to the Carolinas. Let's fast forward to 2023. Same district and same school, believe it or not. Y'all heard at the end of that, it said that, can you hear me out? Am I heard? Can you hear me? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me. Somebody?
On my end, it's breaking up.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's.
Somebody let me know. Let me know if I'm breaking up. Okay. So I'm good. Okay. All right, we're gonna let our work out what's going on now.
Yeah.
You sounding good.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you good.
Okay. Okay. I think we're good now.
Okay, cool.
It was breaking up and it was echoing, but I think we're good now.
Yeah, you coming through clear. So the video that we just seen, that was cool. From. We good?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, then cool. Yeah. So the video that we just seen, that was from 2020. So we want to fast forward to 2023, same district and the same school. We got a 17-year-old kid by the name of Daryl, and he is in his junior year at Barbers Hill, which was the same school that gave the kid of the video that we just seen the problems. But according to his mom, Daryl, he has spent most of the year so far on in-school suspension because of his hair. The Crown Act went into effect September the first. Texas is now this blew my mind here. Texas is one of 24 states in the country that bans discrimination based on hair texture and hairstyles associated with race. What's your thoughts on that? One of 24 states. So that means that the rest of the states.
I mean,
go ahead.
If I'm just saying, if you're gonna ban it, it's funny how in 2023, we still going. You got to make a law that's actually banning for our hair. Like what? Like it's got to be something inside of you. It's a spiritual thing that's got to make you not like somebody's hair. I mean, to get this kid got suspended from school. The other kid had to get his locks cut off just to participate. We talked about it last week. I couldn't imagine being a parent, getting to the game, if I'm running a little bit late, getting to the game, and
That's
I see
right.
my child up there performing, and his hair short.
Mm-hmm.
Timeout. Well, parents can't call timeout. Yes, this parent called timeout today. Timeout.
Right.
So we need to stop it. We need to see what's going on. I couldn't imagine showing up to the game with that happening. So the hate, the jealousy, like y'all may be saying, is real.
Mm-hmm.
For 24 states to make it right. Flag on the play. Timeout. 20 seconds. Stop it. We got to get this right. There's no way as a parent I wouldn't be safe with my child going to that school. Because if they're going to say something about his hair, okay, send it or not, we're going somewhere else.
Right.
But get back to the point, get back to your question. My thoughts on the 24 states actually having to make a statute or a law to ban discrimination, that says a lot about where we are.
Well, so what's wrong with the 26 that haven't done it?
Well, hold on.
Okay.
Right.
Let me say this.
Go ahead, sis.
Probably the reason you only have 24 states is because those 24 states actually have discriminatory laws in their state. You probably don't have the same issue in other states.
Okay.
So there's no need to put in a law.
Okay.
They didn't have the forethought to, hey, we need to put in a law to protect these children or to protect these employees because we're discriminating against their hair. One of the main reasons Texas has it
because
Texas
we don't have a problem.
Most discriminating places.
The problem.
Ever. I actually played basketball against this school, Barbers Hill.
Right.
My entire team, with the exception of one girl on the team, was black. We came to that school, and every single year during the Christmas holidays, we played in that tournament, the Barbers Hill tournament. We ran them off the court every single year. And it got to the point where they started hating for us to come. They ran us out of there one year with a lot of derogatory talk towards all the players. Probably by the 10 years after going to the tournament, the coach finally made the decision, we're not going to participate in this tournament anymore. Yeah. That is a very, very racist school district. Very racist.
Wow. So I agree with that. And they had to make a law because without telling everybody, there was a law undermining, we can't let them on the court if you got hair like this. That's crazy to understand.
That's crazy.
In 2023, that's crazy, y'all. And to think in 2008, we was marching, singing, "We have overcome," because Barack Obama was in office and thought everything was good. And here it is, 15 years later. It's the worst. It's worse.
When I think of us as Israel in America, when I think of us as Israel in America, what I see us doing, is not going nowhere. It's like we'll walk 2 steps forward, but we'll take 3 or 4 back. So you tell me how long is it gonna take you to get just to your front door, walking like that? Just to your front door. You go 2 steps forward, then you go 3 or 4 back. 2 steps forward, 3 or 4 back. That's what's happening, That's where we at. And so with that being said, and I like the way, I like what she brought in there, because I was stuck on the fact that you got 26 states that didn't do it. So I want to give the 26 states that didn't do it now a round of applause. That's why you always got to look at stuff differently from a different side. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
They have not had the problem to where they had to implement a law for the Crown Act. But what, as being black, we're gonna call it black right now. As being black, what can I do about how my hair grew out of my head? And it's just like y'all may say it. We compromise. Well, how much more compromise can we do?
Can we do?
As much as they keep telling us we have to.
I get there.
As much as they feel like they have to get us to comply and to stay in line, because that's what it is. There's so many people who are now in a position where they're like, you know what, we're not bound down anymore. We're not going to take this anymore. We have not just rights, but I've decided that this is what I'm going to do. I've decided I'm not going to do X, Y, Z. So what do? They start putting in laws.
Right.
They start making it more difficult for us.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
17-year-old, man.
17 years old. 17 years old. And I think what started the conversation last week is we was talking about we was talking about our people. How is it that you can say that you love me, but yet you, in that same breath, you'll turn around and say, hey, you can't get a corporate job with your hair growing like that. And so our own people teaches us to hate ourselves.
That's right. That's right.
You know, our own people teach that. You know, and so, but here's the loophole in that, right? So it says that the law went into effect that bans discrimination based on hair texture or hairstyles associated with race. Here's the loophole. Even though there's a law banning discrimination on hair texture, there's an attorney by the name of Peyton Peebles. He says that the Crown Act doesn't specifically mention hair length, but it could be implied. Length could be a way to discriminate against certain hairstyles without being openly discriminatory, he explained. It has the effect of preventing somebody from wearing a hairstyle that they may otherwise want to wear. But and so the question I want to ask you, Ayo, don't that contradict the whole point of the law? The law says it bans discrimination based on hair texture and hairstyles. So wouldn't the length of my hair be considered part of the hairstyle?
Yeah, that's considered a style. A bob for a woman, all the women may know, a bob is your hair short. So they don't call it a bob or A-line bob if it was on your shoulders.
Right.
That length determines the style in this case.
Exactly.
Therefore, y'all law or statute is oxymoron. If somebody can get actually suspended from school or kicked off the team because of their hair length.
Right.
That's crazy.
So what you did was you just went against the very law that was implemented.
Exactly. The very law that was implemented to do away and sweep up under the rug a law that's been there about the style. Now you are going against that.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. It's almost like, we're going to talk about a story here in a little bit, being a crybaby, being spoiled, not getting what you want just because you the referee or a school principal and you don't want to see locks bouncing up and down the court from a basketball or sticking out from under the football helmet. Just because you don't want to see it, now you want to kick somebody out of school or suspend
and that's
somebody.
What they do.
It's a crybaby mentality.
Exactly.
I can't get what I want, so I'm gonna make it. Misery loves company. There you go.
Right.
There you go.
That's exactly what they do. I don't know if you guys. I don't know if you watch IP Man.
Yes.
I don't know if.
What?
And yeah, did you see how? I can't remember which one it is because there's several of them. But in one of those, he was whooping that white boy, and what the white boy did was change the rules of the game in the middle of the fight. That's what they do. That's what me and your pa was talking about earlier today. You know, one of her pages has been hacked, and she said she been dealing with them since February on that page, and she said this should be illegal. I said, well, your pa, what is illegal? What is illegal? When they can change it in the middle of the game, what's illegal today might not necessarily be illegal tomorrow. What's not illegal may be illegal. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what they do. So they'll find a loophole, because what is it saying? One of the school things that a man's hair can't go past the collar or the ear or something like that there. Well, that implementation that's in that code book needs to be thrown out when the Crown Act was implemented September 1. What y'all think about that? I think the government's law overrides a school handbook. That's just my thought. What y'all think?
Go ahead, sis. You got something on it.
No, I just think it's interesting that anytime it deals with us, they always come up with rules that go against whatever is natural to us, or whatever is going to make us great, whatever's going to showcase our greatness. There's always some kind of rule, law, something that they have to put out so that it shuns us, it pushes us down, so that we can't be as great as we're supposed to be. The whole concept of having long hair, because at some point, you know, wearing dreadlocks was not a thing. It was a Rastafarian thing. It was a foreign concept to us in these United States. It was very foreign for us to do that. You had very few people, especially in the South, that were wearing their hair like that. Now all of a sudden, because we recognize it as a style, that's something that our children want to do. Even the adults, it's something that they want, how they want to wear their hair. It now becomes a thing where it's popular. So what do they decide to do? Oh, you can't wear your hair like that. You need to cut your hair off. You need to get rid of that. But for years, they allowed the other siders to do whatever they wanted to do with their hair, and the only rule they really had was the boys couldn't wear their hair past their collar. But that was, and even at that was trying to get rid of what's the group they used to call it, the goth group. There was a group of guys that wear their hair long and shaggy, and they were trying to say that they needed to be clean cut. They wanted them to have more of the preppy look. It goes back to what you guys talked about very early in the show. It's all about control.
It's all about control. Intimidation, control, and manipulation. Once that goes out the window, then they just resort to violence.
Yeah.
And who, if anybody can answer me, I don't remember who you they want to talk about violent? Somebody being violent? Man, do you know what type of violence was in slavery? And y'all want to talk about people being violent? Want to call us violent? If I show up to a game or show up to the school and I'm displeased about my son or daughter having to cut their locks because it's natural, because your spirit man on the inside of you don't like it. That's man, I don't even. That's a perpetual hatred.
That's exactly what it is.
If you got to make a law to combat the law and then can't keep that law that you made to combat the other law, y'all just doing stuff like Sis said, to appease us, just for us to get along. You want to keep us at bay and let us fuss about things that we shouldn't even be arguing about. This, they shouldn't be having to go get their son from school and pick him up because he's suspended. It's crazy. You just love seeing us having to jump through hurdles. Crazy.
Anything that they could do. I mean, real talk, man. The earth was given into the hands of the wicked. Then you got Ezra that told you that, you know, that this kingdom right here belongs to Esau, but the kingdom to come, it belongs to us. And so they doing everything that they can to be able to hold on to what it is that they have. I think I mentioned it a couple of times, but I never did follow through on what I was saying. It's like what your mom was saying, is it all boils down to jealousy. It all boils down to jealousy. How do I know it boils down to jealousy? Because everything that we do, they try to do. Man, one of the nastiest things in the world to me is seeing seeing them people with dreads in their hair. It just looks nasty. You know what I'm saying? But what makes you want to go do this? Because you see it on us. You see it on us. You know what I'm saying? They'll even go put cornrows in their head and they'll call it something else. You know what I'm saying? And then they'll put it on the internet that it's some kind of new style that somebody done came up with. We've been wearing cornrows since the days of the beginning.
Forever.
Like
you said, they'll name it something else and say they came up with it. And guess
they got
what,
do-rags. They'll put a do-rag on.
They wear bonnets now.
Man, it's crazy. They love to implement and duplicate and replicate stuff we do and then make a name up for it to say they invented it. But at the same time, like you just said, y'all's locks, it don't look natural.
Exactly.
I saw a girl about 2 weeks ago on TikTok who had some cornrows put in and had some hair added, and our people tried to tell her that might not be what you want to do, sis. She did it anyway. When she went to take her hair down, she had to cut it out of her hair. So she went from having super long hair past her tailbone to about shoulder length because it got tangled. She ended up having to cut it out. It wasn't meant for you. Right, exactly. So, to end this segment, but not the health problems that a lot of our women have, and actually the Bible talks about that. I want to say it's in Isaiah when he talk about our women. One of the curses for our women would be the scab of their hair. You dig what I'm saying? And what a lot of the health issues that a lot of our women have from wearing those dadgum perms so that they can be accepted in corporate America because their natural hair was not good enough. There's a huge percentage of our women that suffer from endometriosis that is a direct result of perms. A direct result of perms. A lot of our women suffer from a whole lot of other health issues because they felt like that they had to do something with their natural hair in order to please white America. Go back and read 1 Corinthians chapter 11. The Most High says that the crown, the glory of the woman is her hair. And when you read it in its proper order, you will see that he's talking about the crown and the glory that he gave the woman. That's his covering, because Paul started that out. He said, just know that the covering of every man is Hamashiach. The covering of every woman is the man. And the covering of Hamashiach is the Most High. He went through that order. Then he got to talking about the coverings, that a woman should not pray without a covering because it is disrespectful to her man. But when you read that, you will see that he also talks about the hair. Paul talks about the hair. That is the covering that the Most High gave that woman, man. And so when you look at women, man, and they got them big froze, man, it ain't nothing like that picture of Pam Grier in one of those Black Exploitation movies, man, when she had that big fro, man. Look here, bro. Just froed out. Our hair grows like broccoli. A tree. However it is that you want to. And that intimidates them. You know why? Because they know we great.
Yeah, we're the only one with high top fades and afros that grow out and up. The one thing that defies what they call so-called gravity. Exactly. They natural hair can't grow up. It grows down.
It grows down. It grows down. For being in them dadgum caves.
We have obedient hair.
Exactly.
Right.
It's obedient.
Oh man, boy. Yeah,
exactly, man. Is there anything else we gotta touch up on that part, man? Cause I just think it's interesting that there has to be a whole law to get people up off of our back, but they always find a loophole to where they can still do what it is that they want to do anyway. So
it's crazy. It's trying to make it look like they're doing something for us, but they're really not. Because they don't want it. It's just, bro.
They ain't even throwing bones with meat on them. They just throwing dry bones.
Dry bones.
They just throwing dry
with no
bones.
bone marrow, nothing in it, nothing.
Nothing.
Dry.
Just
Hollow.
and there's so many of us accepting it. I know right now as Negroes somewhere sitting around on, thank you for that Crown Act law.
Do it again.
We thank you for that Crown Act. That Crown Act.
For the
law.
Crown Act. Man, if you don't
Then when they go to work thinking that they can wear their dreads.
come back in here tomorrow. I'll let you have the fight. We'll pay you the rest of the day to go get that mess cut off.
Go get it chopped down.
Okay.
Indeed.
Oh,
Let's keep it moving, man. Let's hit that next music break. And then after that, we got the TikTok talk.
Let's get it.
This the life we chose, so I'ma stand on all 10 toes. For the most high, that's for sure. I want everything I'm owed, that and a little more. Esau, this the end of your road. You wasn't nothing but a joke. Mad cause we the one he chose. We the one he chose, Deuteronomy 14:2. If you not an Israelite, then he don't even mess with you. Time to get it right, time ticking. You can feel the heat through the roof. Stay girded in these scriptures if you wanna know what to do. Lead by example, then the rest, they gon' all follow you. Woe to the wicked past, they take your money but don't help you. Follow Christ, keep the commandments, that is what you should do. Ecclesiastes 12:13 tell you what you can do. This the life we chose, so I'ma stand on all 10. For Yahweh, I wipe out your bloodline like back then. Be careful what you do, use wisdom, don't fall into sin. This is your time to correct, you can't change at the end. This is your time to correct, you can't change at the end. This is your time to correct, you can't change at the end. This is your time to correct, you can't change at the end. Repent. This the life we chose, so I'ma stand on all 10 toes. For the most high, that's for sure. I want everything I'm owed, that and a little more. Esau, this the end of your road. You wasn't nothing but a joke. Mad cause we the one he chose.
We was at the bottom, now we standing 10, screaming Kwam Yasharala. All praises to the Abba, we got bread in the water. No longer doing things that gon' lead me to the slaughter. Keep them laws you oughta, cause the end is coming. We ain't playing games, no, it's repenting nothing. Yeah, they know we got the truth, but they be steady ducking. Told my sister wear a dress, but she be steady bucking. You gon' fall for anything if you don't stand for something. Meanwhile, I'm staying girded and I'm standing firm. All my people need some straightening like a damn perm. It was prophesied. I hate to kill this beat, but this a homicide. I can really go in, but this my humble side. Enough for me, it's about the Father God. Mission incomplete, so we gon' keep enduring. Can't wait to turn up in heaven, just like the Feast of Purim.
Yeah. That was Shazak featuring Miguel Israel with The Life We Chose. That's dope. I like that, man.
Yeah. I told you, man, that invention that I found called Apple Music, man. I ain't got to worry about no music no more.
Look, my daughter thought they didn't got fired. Daddy, we get fired. We was looking for the music. Like, nah, he got
no. Tell them no. Yeah, especially music with videos. Yeah. Cause I like to try to start the show with videos.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of artists that got music, but it's hard to find them. You know, I know it takes a lot, but we doing some skipping and stuff, but we good. Can you still hear me out?
Yeah. I can hear you now. It skipped. I think it stopped skipping. It was skipping just a minute or so ago. I think what happened a little while ago, for some reason, my phone and my laptop lost Wi-Fi on my side.
Oh.
You know, a little while ago. Yeah, I think tonight has been my side. I don't know, but my daughter's and my wife's laptop their phones are good. For some reason, my laptop and my phone, I don't know.
Y'all getting rain over there too though, right? Storms and stuff.
We were early. It was storming earlier. That could be what it was. But I mean, when it was actually thundering and raining, I was good. It seemed like when the rain and the thunder stopped, that's when it started acting up. So yeah, like right now, my phone still won't connect back to the Wi-Fi. So I don't know.
Okay. Well,
But it's all
yeah.
good.
So I know we finally getting some rain here, man. I can't believe it. But I heard some thunder and I seen some lightning. I ain't seen no waterfall. Oh, okay. It's raining now. All praises. We need it too. Yeah. Yeah. We ain't had no rain around these parts since, man. That's probably why I couldn't breathe the other day. It was all day. I told my wife, I said, heat sucks away oxygen. I said, they killing us with this global warming thing. I said they pulling all the oxygen out the air. That's why I can't breathe, man. Yeah, they pulling the oxygen out the air. Let's get that TikTok talk. What we got?
Rant after a fender bender in the school parking lot. Here's Stephanie Ramos.
Tonight, a Pennsylvania middle school teacher has been suspended after her racist rant aimed at an African-American parent dropping off his child in the school's parking lot.
Probably on welfare, too.
Not even a little bit. 6 figures a year, man. It's because I'm young and I'm black, and the reason why you would say that.
That's right, because you're black.
The parent, who does not want to be identified, says it all stemmed from a minor fender bender in the parking lot of Drexel Hill Middle School. In the video, you see the teacher come out from around the truck and yell derogatory statements and a racial slur toward the parent. Tonight, the school district's superintendent speaking out.
This is not the appropriate way to interact or to communicate with anybody in the public.
As for the parent involved, he commends the district for how they're handling everything, adding that one teacher does not represent an entire.
Why we so? What's wrong with us, man? As for the parent involved, man, that'd be the last thing. Even if I felt like that, that'd be I would be putting Becky on blast. Do you understand me? Every time they put a camera in my face, I'd be like, she need to be fired. I ain't even talking about suspended. She need to be fired. I want her gone.
I'm telling you.
Why they worrying about Crown X, the way my hair grow out my head? I'm thinking that these school districts might need to start screening their teachers a little bit more. This lady here is in care of our children.
Yep. And when you go on a rant like that, that just didn't download into her brain and her heart and her spirit overnight. That's been there.
Yes.
She been waiting to say that.
Yes.
Go back to your welfare.
Yes.
Hey, what you talking about, Karen?
Yes.
What's wrong with you?
Yes. He said no, 6 figures.
6 figures.
But just because I'm black, you said that. Yes, that's right, because you're black. She talking from her heart.
From her heart. Like that's it. That came from the abundance of the heart.
So how many black children in her classroom? How many black children do she supposed to be serving? We not gonna talk teaching because teachers are servants, right? She's in the business of serving. How many black children do she serve on a daily basis with this in her heart?
Right, and to come in and land back off of that, how can you not fire her? To suspend and bring back, the word talks about becoming like a child, and a child don't forget nothing.
Facts.
So you were suspended for 2 weeks to bring her back, and them children be like, "Oh, we've heard what you said, but you back teaching us." And
that's right.
Putting us on the car riders and putting us on the bus, getting us off the bus, walking us to the bathroom, and
that's right.
Like you said, suspend, man. You got to go.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be able to teach nowhere else. Go get you another job.
That's right.
That's crazy, y'all.
Anything less than firing would be she'll have to walk the walk of shame. Shame, bing. Shame, bing. Shame, bing. Then she come back to school. She walk around the school with shame, bing. Then you come back.
Then you come back. gonna have a whole parade with you walking down the street with a
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, that's real talk. That's the tick.
Here's my thing. I just gotta ask this to everybody. I pose this question. With the technology, with cameras everywhere, cell phones, recording capabilities everywhere, do they not see these viral videos and either just don't care, or do they forget that they could be recorded and screenshot? Okay, good. Thank you, sis. I think they just don't care, and then they just forget because they're so used to having their way. They don't care. I mean, we've seen that instance. Kids trying to just swim. Well, you guys don't live here. How would you know? You know everybody that live in the whole complex, and you want me to leave. A white lady threw a soda. We just did the story about she threw the soda on the little boy. Like, what you mean? That's the question I want to ask. I agree, sis. I think it's a combination of both. They just don't care, and
it might be a combination of both, but I think it's more so that they don't care. Because they be hot, and when they just think about you when you get teed off.
Yeah.
At that time, you don't care. You know what I'm saying? If you recording or not, you know what I'm saying. And so, and that's why they come back and they be like, that's matter of fact. I believe that this chick, I could be wrong. Didn't that video continue and she was like, that's really not how she felt or something like that?
That's a whole other one.
There was another one.
Completely different.
And they always come back with that, it was the medication that I took. And
what's the old saying? A drunk mind. I mean,
speaks a sober heart.
Man speaks a sober
heart.
It's the same thing with anger. It's the exact same thing with anger. When people are angry, they say exactly how they feel.
Right.
And then later, they'll come back and be like, well, no, that's not. I was really upset when that happened. I apologize. That's not how I really feel. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly how you feel.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's the TikTok talk, man. Yeah, so we got the music break and our last topic as to why the name of the show is The New Mississippi Burning in Alabama. Y'all are not gonna believe this story. I didn't even know how to make notes for this story, man. That's why that article that I sent you, I know that article was forever long, but man, I looked at that joker, man. I was like, where do I even start with this?
Look, I just printed the article. I ain't even highlight nothing.
The whole article. You probably need to go get you some ink.
I did. I got me some more ink, bro. Oh man,
y'all are not gonna believe this story we got next. Let's get that music break and let's get it.
Yeah, 500 degrees, praising my Abba through the fire. My Shiach with me. We with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Here we go. Here we go. Praise him through the fire, my spirit hot like a lighter. Ruach is my rider, it break the chains when I'm tied up. I'm a freedom fighter, I'm fighting demons from Zion. Roaring out of Judah to sick the lions on tyrants. Salute to the pious, the righteous praising like sirens. Calculated science, we see the end like the Mayans. Angels our alliance to put the wicked to silence. We Torah compliant, Yahusha is our reliance. Open up the blinds, see light shines like irons. Cooking up the bread like ovens, we no appliance. Relieving the stress, we bless, no neuroscience. We won't put the word to the test, there's no defiance. We know our creator is real, there's no denying. We made him a deal to do his will, no lying. We gon' need a sheath for all the swords we buying. Giving to the streets the bread of life, no dying. Parables and tales on the beat, Messiah rhyming. He gon' give the earth to the meek in perfect timing. We not turning back for leaks and Miss Ryan. Sipping plenty wine at the feast is never drying. We gon' have the word on our teeth at sun rising. Distributing manna from heaven, there's no declining. Building up the blocks like rocks to slay the giants. Abrahamic stock, we foreigners from Shemayim. And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, was astonished and rose up in haste and spoke and said unto his counselors, did not we cast three men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, true, O king. He answered and said, lo, I see four men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the fourth is like the son of Eloah.
Yo probably know. My wife said, who's on them background vocals? Who's on them vocals?
I don't know. That sound like a sample that was
modulated.
That I know a lot of folks in their soulful sounds of sound packs. A lot of producers will use a lot of Aretha Franklin, Shaka Khan. That sound like an old Shaka Khan sample, but the voice is modulated. I think you can speed it up, so it sounds like how I did. But that sound like a Shaka Khan sample, but it made it so soulful. It was a soulful beat.
Yes.
And then that sample just make it real soulful, man. That's like Monologue was talking about that the other week. How hip hop and R&B has to have a soul back in it. It's got to be soulful, man. It's a lot of that.
It sounded a little like Denise Williams to me. That's why I asked that question.
Denise Williams. It could be Denise Williams. Listen to that, just says okay. Sis know her R&B.
I did good. I did good.
Did good. I know that's right. I know that's right.
Yeah.
Denise Williams. I didn't think about that one. That may actually be
right.
Williams.
Yeah, when I heard the opening of that one, I said, that song there made another song move around. Y'all just have no idea what I be going through when I be coming through these tracks for the show, man. Yeah.
DJ Shear. Going through them, don't you?
Man, look here, bro. And then the ones I don't use, I got a fold over here. I put them in so I can go back and get them.
Later.
Yeah, exactly. Everything getting used. Everything getting used. We got a video. Go ahead and run that video on this next story, baby.
Might make y'all mad.
Rolling around New Bern's mayor's office is producing racist threats.
A supporter of the town's first black mayor has received a graphic hate message in the mail. WVTM 13's John Papke joins us with tonight's Special Investigates update. When did the offensive blowback begin, John?
Well, last fall, Guy. In fact, within days of New Bern's first black mayor filing a lawsuit over what he called racist motives to keep him from carrying out his elected duties. Be warned, some of the images we are about to show you might be too graphic for younger viewers.
I took my key.
Last week, we introduced you to Patrick Braxton, who claims he was locked out of town hall in 2020 after becoming New Bern's first black mayor.
I want to see this town grow and everyone can come together and be created equal.
Food distributions, utility assistance.
LaQuina Lewis's nonprofit offers a community food bank in the area. When she reached out to Braxton to use his church for a distribution spot last year, she was shocked to hear about his political plight.
It broke my heart because in my eyes, hey, we're in 2023. What do you mean you're being locked out of City Hall?
So she helped him hire an attorney who filed a lawsuit against New Bern's former white mayor and majority white town council last November. Braxton accused them of blocking him from serving his hometown because he was black. The former mayor and council deny those claims, even pointing out Braxton has been disqualified from the mayor's office by the Alabama Attorney General and stating their actions had nothing to do with race. Where does that food come from? Within 2 weeks of Braxton filing his lawsuit, Lewis received this envelope, carrying an anonymous 4-page hate-themed thread inside. Filled with foul language and racial slurs, it mentions Lewis and who they call non-mayor Braxton. The author states if they don't get out of town, they could die or get burned down. They also claim they were watching Lewis's 4 kids and her new home.
I was very fearful of my life, my family's life. More than anything, I was upset, in all honesty, that it went that far.
2 months earlier, Lewis's historic Selma house did burn up. So far, investigators say the cause is undetermined. Finally, this page of the hate mail even showed a sketch of Lewis and Braxton with swastikas for eyes being lynched. Brazen images we chose to blur out that Lewis is convinced target her role in Braxton's legal battle.
I feel like I received the hate mail because of the steps that I took to make sure that some awareness was brought to it.
Nobody knows who sent the threat to Lewis. She says the notes have been turned over to the FBI and promises they will not derail her mission to make a difference.
I would like to see change, and I'm determined to make sure that that happens.
One food giveaway or historic mayoral race at a time.
So everybody could know, one of the notes I want to bring out early about this town is that it's 80% Israel and 20% Edom. And it got a population of 133 people to begin with. With that being said, I know Ayob got notes. I know Banat Shah Lahaya got some comments. I'm going to take a back burner because what y'all got to say may be what I got as well, but I definitely want to hear what you guys think about this particular story. I know one thing that Banat Shah Lahaya said when we was reading it last night, Ayob, she said that this is like straight out of a movie. This is one of those where you hear somebody say, I can't make this up. That's why this article was so long. This article was that long because of all of the twists and turns that was within this story. Go ahead, Ayo. What you got, but man?
Go ahead, but now go ahead, sis.
See, I'll just go put this on me to start out, huh? The disrespect that this man suffered as a result of the old town traditions, old town thought processes, was absolutely ridiculous. Regardless of whether it's 2023, 2020, 1994, whatever the case is, this kind of stuff still happens. And there are people who don't look like us who will say, there has to be a reason. There must be something else going on other than blatant racism, because they'll never outright admit to that. They will give you the excuse that there must be another reason why he was being locked out, why they're having secret meetings, why he can't even access the mail. He's not even getting the mail, and he is the mayor of this town. There had never been an elected mayor in this town. Nobody knew that an election could take place. He inquired about it, found out about it, and decided, I'm going to run. He won because nobody ran against him. And now, because they're so shocked that a black man figured out how to beat their system, not the system, but their system, they're doing everything in their power to keep him from being in power. And you heard what he said, I want better for my people. Because what did Shear say? 80% of the population in that town is us, and 20% are them. So if the majority is us, shouldn't the majority be running the town? I told Shear that I said what probably about 40 times reading this article. Every time I hit something, I was like, what?
What?
What? Like, it is insane the number of things and the type of things that they did and are still doing to keep him from being the mayor of this
I
town.
see that article. All them words Ayo got right there. That's the article. That's the article. That's the article.
You see page, flip up, another page, another page.
I want to make note too that this article is in the description of the show. So if you never went and read an article that we have in the description, please go read this article, because there is no way we gonna be able to cover everything that went on. And the town only got 133 people.
133, and like sis, and like you both said, 80% is us. That means 8 out of 10 people. Every 10 people, you put 10 people, count 8 is us. Another 10 count 8 is us. That is in like sis said. Every other paragraph, I was like, wait a minute, what?
What?
Read a little bit more. Wait a minute, what? Read a little more. Wait a minute, what? Like, I just thought reading just printed it. I just thought reading. I was so busy scrolling, and every little bit, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just print this dope and let it ride. I ain't gonna highlight nothing.
Say.
Because here's my thing, just real quick. I'm gonna give my brief. Now, they had a day they say never forget that just recently passed, right? And what is always uplifted and exalted during that time? They're always wearing the FDNY hat, right? Exalting firefighters, right? And first responders, right? But the most is firefighters. Everybody loved it, talking and what they did. I'm not taking anything away from what they're doing.
You breaking up a little bit.
Am I breaking up?
There you go.
Okay.
I think you get too far from the mic. I want to hear what you got to say. Yeah.
All right. So can you hear me now?
Good.
Yes, sir. Hear me now? All right.
Yes, sir.
So like I said, the never forget 9/11. Everybody know, and the exaltation of the first responders, which is justified. I'm not taking nothing away that they did on that day, but the firefighters are the ones that they exalt the most. The FDNY hats, the fire department in New York, right? The very first line struck me because when it's us, it goes out the window.
Right.
In November 2020, Patrick Braxton, a what? A volunteer firefighter.
That's right.
That's the first. I was like, now wait a minute. Why isn't somebody, people from New York, people that lost people and never forget, why ain't y'all flying in to give this dude some type of support?
Come on, man.
That was the first thing that struck me, right? The second thing, it says New Bern was incorporated in 1854. I always talk about it, guys. We always talk about it on this show. I tell my children all the time, when you're riding around in these old towns and even these big establishments, look at when the business was established. Have EST, 1910, 1854. A lot of these businesses and towns were erected when we were still in chains and in bondage.
That's right.
Yep.
Literally.
Right.
So that's another thing where I was like, wait a minute, what? It says New Bern was incorporated in 1854, the year the town held its first election. Encyclopedia of Alabama notes that New Bern quickly developed into a cotton economy fueled by slave labor. So here it is. Okay, and then I said, okay, well, it's evident. No wonder they don't want them in play, because they, you know what their mentality is. The few Europeans that stay in the town, you know what they're thinking? Man, you still a slave.
That's it.
You a slave, man. You a
That's
slave.
it. That's
How can
it.
you be
You're not
mayor?
supposed to be in this position.
You're not supposed to be in this position. And guess what? We're not going to let you. We don't care if it is just 40 of us. And then I asked you the question. I texted him this, and I said, okay, out of 133 people, 8 out of 10, that means it's probably 85 of us and 35 to 40 of them. We outnumber y'all. How is it that nothing is done? Nobody
Come on,
has
bro.
got together a plan. And you know what I said? I said, man, I think sitting in church on Sundays has got us to this point, man.
They praying.
That was my conclusion. We gonna pray. Listen,
You heard? You heard what he said.
Pray.
You heard what Patrick said. What Mr. Patrick said, that he want to help everybody and find equality. Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 32 and 30.
Come on, let's get it.
See, you hit something. I made me think of something, man.
Let's get it up. Say Deuteronomy 32:30, right?
Deuteronomy 32 and 30. It says, how should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except a rock had sold them and the Most High shut them up? Look at them numbers. What's those numbers again? Give me them numbers again. 8 to 10. Ain't that what you said?
8 to 10. So 133 person town, 8 out of 10. If 10 times 10 is 100, and 10 times 11 is 110, 10 times 20, 120, 10 times 30 is 130. So that means out of every 10 sets of people, 8 of those people are us. So that means you take the 2 that's left out of 10 sets. That's 80, and that's like 120 and 20.
That's
like
it.
115 and 20. That's it.
That's it. That's it. Listen to what this scripture said. It said, how should one chase 1,000? Because see, you asked the question, Ak, you said, why have we not figured out a way to handle this? It's right here. How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock sold them? You want to ask me if I'm an Israelite or not? Look at how we living over here. You want to ask me if I'm the people of this book? We looking at it right now in this story. This is why we have not formulated a way to overcome this thing. Those few itty bitty white people that's there in that town, they ain't scared of the rest of them Negroes. Why? Because just like she said and you said, is that you ain't supposed to be in that position. Now, this is where the problem is. As soon as I heard this story, I said, somebody dropped the ball. One of them white people dropped the ball. You got to think, man. This is what it said. It said, as far as anyone could remember, the mayor had been either an inherited or appointed position with multiple mayors. Not just to ride through this thing, including Stokes. That's somebody who should have been in that video. I'm going to come back to that as well, okay? Including his name wasn't even mentioned in that video that we see.
What did he mention?
His name is Haywood Woody Stokes III. That's what his name is. The third. Okay? His name should have been mentioned, but it's mentioned here on Truth Be Told Flex podcast. Okay? It says that this office had either been inherited or appointed position with multiple mayors, including Stokes, serving in the position for over a decade. Listen to this. Robert L. Walthall, a descendant of the town's early founders, was mayor of New Bern for 44 years, while Paul Owens was a city council member for 33 years. Before becoming mayor for 12 years, Stokes became mayor in 2008, reigning until Braxton's election 12 years later. They were handing this office off like royalty. That's a bloodline thing. Somebody dropped the ball. Patrick went and investigated. I can run. They so comfortable and just you know what? Hey, I'm gonna hold this here for the next 15 years. After this, I'm gonna pass this down to my cousin uncle. Cause you know they inbred. They Rays.
Was the video we saw? All he can do is grunt. That's crazy.
I'm gonna pass that over to him. See, But the problem is because you said something else though, yo. You said firefighter. Why if NYFD is not down here? NYFD is not down here.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Better yet, why is this not talked about on the news? See, this is the problem. I'm not even talking about Fox News or CNN News or HLN News or Bloomberg News. I'm talking about every major city got a black radio station. I get in my car every day. Ricky Smiley on my car.
Ricky Smiley, Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley.
You see what I'm saying?
Off the rip.
Come on now.
That's just 3 off the rip.
You got you supposed to have people on your payroll to find stuff like this here, to bring attention to events like this here. The reason why stuff like this happens and continue to happen is because not enough attention is brought to it.
Right.
Haywood Woody Stokes III should be on blast.
Be on blast.
It should be, you want to have a 1,000,000-man march, it should be Negroes from California in New Bern, Alabama right now.
And all it would take was a few with some money to say, we got a hotel nearby and we ain't going nowhere to this.
We ain't going nowhere.
Y'all about to see a lot more of us. You know what they'll probably say then? You can have it.
That's exactly what they say.
You can have it. We don't even want it anymore.
Looking like Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt, right. That's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what they'll say, huh?
Boy, that's exactly what they would say.
Before we leave this story, though, I want to talk about a few things that was happening, man. This was childish and sad at the same time, man. These are things that was in this article. Please go read this article.
Please.
They was having a change of the lock tussle. He win. He want to go to City Hall. He got to go get the keys from Haywood Stokes III. Haywood give him the keys. Mr. Patrick go down there. Well, something's wrong, girl. These keys don't work. They done changed the lock.
Boy,
Haywood get the lock changed. He go in. They done took everything in City Hall out. He said there wasn't nothing in there but some trash.
That's it. That's crazy, bro.
But guess what Haywood Stokes did? Haywood Stokes III, guess what he did? That white boy went and changed the locks again. Damn, Mr. Patrick still he can't get back in.
Can't get in. And now he can't get nobody out there to unchange it like he did the first. He can't get it. They won't come. He just locked out for a year.
You see what I'm saying?
For a year, so.
You ever heard of You Only That by Name Only? You know?
That's what he is.
That's exactly what that is. You only mail by name. And this goes to show you too that they own that town.
They own that town, man. 1854, boy, once again, their mentality is you are still a slave.
That's exactly
made
it.
This town off of cotton picking. I just read it. New Bern quickly developed into a cotton economy fueled by slave. That means the very foundation. Y'all know how much cotton had to be picked to sell to the British? That joint is so light, it's like a feather. So they bought it by pound. The British and the Italians bought it by pound. You know how much cotton the folks had to pick to make bales and bales of that stuff?
Right.
Bruh.
Right. We're about to wrap this thing up, man, but it was crazy the stuff that was going on. There's another thing I want to hit on that went on, man, that was in this story. It said 1 January, Mr. Braxton went to the post office to retrieve the city's mail. It said that he paid for the city post office box himself. He had to pay for it out of his own money, y'all. But because he was barred from using city's accounts, right? He the mayor, he can't even use the funds. He can't use the fund of the city. He asked the white woman working there, why wasn't he getting any of the city's mail? Guess what she told him? She received an email saying that he was not the mayor. She know that he won.
She know that he won, right?
She received an email that said he is not the mayor. They held a secret council meeting member without telling Mr. Braxton about it. And they said because he didn't attend, they voted him out as mayor.
They didn't even tell him about the meeting. So how you gonna tell
They didn't
the
even
meeting?
tell him about the meeting. Boy,
They doing
listen,
as the kids
reading
say, they doing
boy,
the most.
They doing the most, man. Listen, reading this article, I sat back in this chair a couple times.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What in the world is happening?
What
This
in
is
the
actually
world?
happening.
And ain't being talked about at all. Nobody has talked about it.
Nobody.
You know,
These
and
black radio stations ought to be ashamed of themselves, man. For real, like for real. I don't care. You could be watching, get mad. Do better. Do better.
That's
all
right.
You do is do better.
That's right.
Do better.
Like
Ain't
this
no way y'all
morning,
should
Ricky
come
Smiley on that joint talking about supporting Joe Biden. You know, that's what he was talking about this morning. So you want to talk about supporting Joe Biden, but you don't want to talk about this right here that's happening. This man's life is really in jeopardy. This man, and he is doing something that he feel like he is doing right. And I asked the question, we're going to skip the buy sell tonight. I asked the question, in a situation like this, do you continue to fight or do you just give up?
I'm going to fight, but I might fight a little differently than they fight. I'm going to just leave it at that.
Oh, you fighting.
I'm fighting too. I'm fighting too.
Right. And it's going to be different from the way they fighting.
Right.
Let somebody trying to help me get their house burned down with her and her 4 kids. Man. And y'all, bro, and y'all.
You know how crazy that is, man?
Bro, that is.
They going to catch all the smoke.
All the smoke. And you know what this remind me of? I know y'all, everybody in the chat, we still got 12 people in the building. Everybody in the chat is going to go, not Mississippi Burning. It reminds you of that. But you know what TV show that I used to watch and it reminded me of? In the Heat of the Night.
In the Heat of the night.
I can see that. In the Heat of the Night. The way they did Tibbs when he got there.
Yep.
I can absolutely see that.
And your mind, you are right. You are exactly right, man. People have no idea, and that's what I don't know. It just bothers me when I hear people say that we better off now than what we used to be. No, we not. They just have become more deceptive.
Right, we worse because it's deceptive. Thank you,
They have become more deceptive. Remember, I said we go 2 forward, then we'll take 3 or 4 back. Which means that we still really in the same spot, if not farther back than we were to begin with. You know. Right. So man. That's the night show. Anybody got anything else to say? I'd apologize for keeping us over a little longer than we normally do, but that article there, man, we still could be going on with that because it's
telling you, boy.
We still could be going on with that one.
Yeah, we can talk about that forever. I just, man, yeah, boy.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I ain't even told you either. I do apologize. This is your first time hearing this. We are going to be visited by the Light Hebrew magazine once a month. The first Wednesday of every month, she's going to come in and give us a quick rundown of what's going on in the nation. Delta know everything and know everybody. So that's going to make it easy for us to make sure that we are getting everything promoted, you know what I'm saying, and we know what's going on. New artists that may be coming up and all of, anything that needs to be known. Sister Delta's going to come in a few minutes and let us know what's going on with that. This is the 13th, so we got a show next Wednesday on the 20th, and we're going to have
Friday, right?
Yep, that's exactly where I was going. That Friday, the 22nd, we're going to have Mr. Ron Dalton in the house.
Yeah.
Our camp got in touch with his camp, and we was able to make it happen.
Made it official.
Yeah, we made it official. So on the 22nd of this month, so next week we're gonna have a twofer, and it's going to be live. So yeah, y'all stick around with us and come back with us on Friday night. I need to get with Elder Nasaya and see if we'll be able to run that as well live on Nasaya TV. Yeah, so that, cause that'll be great too. And y'all don't forget, man, Tuesdays you got Talk About It Tuesday with Mono,
Pastor Kendall.
And Pastor Kendall. Then Thursday, Mono and Pastor Kendall again with that's Thursday morning with the Bible studies. So that's gonna be tomorrow morning. You have Miss Mono with Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass. We got Inside the Nation with Abaya. We got what is it? We got Swords of the Spirit. They are on Tuesday nights. Exactly. What is, I can't remember the name of J Lutz them podcast with
Off Limit on Monday.
We got Off Limits on Monday. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. They be doing
great. Boy. Woo.
Exactly. We got some great stuff out there. So please support, share. And again, we are still on our road to 500 before the year end. If we don't make it, we ain't gonna let that slow us down. But hey, I believe that we could do it though. I think we are already close to 300 right now. So you know, we just gotta, we getting there. We gotta push. So yeah, that's that, man. But other than that, it was a great show tonight. But Nasha Lahaya did a wonderful. She did better than I thought she was gonna do tonight. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I was worried about the sister, man, but said she kept saying, "I got this. You don't trust me." I said, "I trust you." Yeah, she got this. She did a great job.
Awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll be back next week. Love you too, Mono, man. Love you too, brother. Other than that, we got an outro. I am going to say with this outro, if you don't like your children to hear curse words, you might want to go ahead and take them out. But this song has a really, really great message. It's by Linolia. I don't know if this was pre-truth, doing truth, or sometime I don't know how new this is, but I love the message of this song. So we're going to send us out with this outro song. Other than that, we'll see y'all next week. Shalom.
Strength to push on, I swear to God, I will give you my last time. I wipe out a whole bloodline for fucking wrong with mine. And if there's ever a time that you ever need help, you can always call your mama as long as I have breath. I swear to God, raise my hand to God, I'll do anything for my babies. I'm a mama, you know. I swear to God, raise my hand to God, I'll do anything for my babies. Say I do anything. Understood my worth every time I gave birth. Since I cried when my baby died, I still feel there. So when a mother lose a child, relive all that hurt. Feel like you've been robbed the greatest gift on this earth. Lonely life in motherhood, I was sworn I never knew this kind of love till I had my firstborn. She feisty, gonna be a leader just like her mommy. Gave birth to a soldier, over him I go to war. I could never love a man like I love my little boy. Mama's second born, mama's only son. Started moving fast, here come another one. That's mama baby girl, mistreat her, I ain't your word. I don't play but now, one of I got to get physical. I swear to God, raise my hand to God, I'll do anything for my babies. I'm a mama, you know. I swear to God, raise my hand to God, I'll do anything for my babies. Say I'll do anything for my
fight.